it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, January 18th. Okay, so we have the moon in this Aries energy going void, of course, at 3:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're locking into Taurus energy at 3:13 a.m. So a very short, very brief period where the moon is void, of course. That's going to work in our favor. But of course, the transition from Aries energy to Taurus energy is always a little bit heavy, always a little bit weighted. We are moving out of a very fiery fire sign in Aries energy to a fixed earth sign in Taurus energy. We are also kind of in this state of, I'm going to say, agitation, restlessness, anxiety due to the first quarter moon in Aries we just experienced late last evening. And so that particular energy is going to get grounded out, anchored into the present moment in the Taurus energy. Of course, everything slows down in Taurus energy. We try to be as present as possible. We aren't really focused on the past. We're not really focused on the future. There are some aspects where when thinking about the future, it's about really listening to our physical form, our physical bodies, how it is that our body is responding to some of the thoughts, some of the ideas, some of the visualizations that we're trying to conjure up for futuristic plans, futuristic visions. Everything slows down so that we can be present. We can be in our physical bodies where we are emotionally aware, mentally aware, spiritually aware of what feels good and what doesn't. This is going to help us kind of process what we have to let go of, what it is that we have to build upon. The Taurus energy wants to kind of stick to what is comfortable, what is familiar, what is tried, tested, and true. And again, we want to focus on the happy things, the comfortable things, the warm and fuzzy things. Although there are some aspects that are going to make us kind of focus on the not so light and fluffy things. However, this is a different perspective that we are going to have compared to where it is that we are coming from. Again, still building off of those new moon intentions that we set under that new moon in Capricorn, and now at a choice point, decision point, action point, because of the first quarter moon in Aries energy, the Taurus energy is going to make us present, logical, practical, really in touch with our thoughts and feelings in order to figure out what it is that we want to build, what it is that we want to create, where it is that we have to stabilize. So there are 8 different aspects taking place here today. 7 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, while still in Aries energy, is going to make its last final aspect before going void, of course, and that moon interaction is with Pluto. We are getting into the boxing ring. We're squaring off with the great transformer himself at these final degrees of Capricorn energy. This is going to be tension-filled, conflict-filled. Why? Because the moon in Aries, again, pushing for this action point, for this decision point, for this choice point. We have ants in our pants. We're restless. There's a lot of impulses that we're trying to resist at this point in time because we can't take action willy-nilly. Everything has to be well thought out, well strategized, because of course we are in Capricorn season. The Plutonian energy wants to intensify everything. So, of course, we are going to feel the energy build, this restlessness build, this anxiety build, just so that we can kind of see where it is that either the frustration that we are currently feeling, the agitation that we're currently sitting in, showing us what it is that needs to change, what it is that we have to kind of move away from, what it is that we have to transform into something better. Now, if you're lucky enough to be tapping into excitement, to passion, to desire, which is an option for this moon in Aries energy, then this particular interaction with Pluto is going to show us where it is that this intensity is building to a point where we have to make a move. We have to initiate some sort of action in order for us to pursue these particular goals. So either way, it kind of doesn't feel good because it is a building of a very intense energy that is very uncomfortable in our physical form, but it is highlighting for us where it is that action is needed. So this is the last aspect that the moon in Aries is going to make. We go void, of course, 3:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're shifting into that Taurus energy at 3:13 a.m. And about 40 minutes later, we have an aspect taking place that's really going to help us out. It is not moon related, but it is the one aspect taking place here today that doesn't involve the moon. And lucky for us, it is a very positive one. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. In this Capricorn energy is going to sextile, beautiful interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is in this Pisces energy. This is going to help us get organized in our thoughts, in our focus, in our planning, in our strategy. We are hyper-focused on the details, especially where our belief system is concerned. Do we have the right narrative? Are we encouraging ourselves to grow, to heal, to repair, to fix whatever issues have been holding us back? This is preparing for action, for a step forward, if you will, and making the decisions that need to be made. Again, highlighted under this first quarter moon in Aries energy. So this is going to put tunnel vision on us, and this is actually the third and final aspect between Mercury and Saturn. Our last one was back on December 21st when we first entered into the solstice energy. Mercury was retrograde at that time, and that kind of brought up a lot of confusing points that was more kind of focused on the past than it was about the present moment or the future. And so at that particular point in time, things were kind of wackadoodle, kind of all over the place. Now we're kind of dating back to that particular time frame. We're understanding where we have closed the door on a lot of confusing topics and themes, where we are kind of gaining clarity on the path, the plan, the direction that we need to take in moving forward. And this is going to help us get organized, something that we could all really benefit from. The moon, now in Taurus energy, is going to sextile Mr. Saturn. So emotionally speaking, there is a lot of growth. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of repairment, because we're not bouncing all around from the past to the future to the present moment and then back again. We're rooted in our physical form here in this present moment because of the Taurus energy. So we're taking a logical, practical look at our futuristic plans and what it is that we want to be building towards. B, where it is that we're currently standing, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. And C, what it is that we're currently closing the door and walking away from. And again, this particular interaction is what I kind of briefly mentioned at the beginning of this forecast. We have to really sit in our own energy, thinking about the prospects of the future and listening to how our physical body responds to that visual, to that potential, to that variable. We have to be present in this present moment in our physical bodies, taking a good look around at the current situation and circumstance, and listen to our bodies, how it responds when we think about the growth, the healing, the repairment that we've already done, and what it is left that we still have yet to do. And so this is going to be a perspective shift, but it is kind of rooting us, grounding us, anchoring us into our physical form, into this present moment, and giving us a bigger, broader perspective, logically and practically speaking, on what it is that we want to build towards, listening to our body on what feels the best. So the moon is then going to trine Mercury. We love this because it is earth on earth action. This is what gives us our trine aspect. Trine means that there is a harmonization, there's a growth, there's a healing, there's an ability to move forward. Now, the moon is our heart space, our emotional space. Mercury is our head space, our mental space. They're working together. They're on the same page. We are anchored, rooted, grounded in this present moment, thinking about our long-term goals, again, Mercury and Capricorn energy, and listening to how it is that our physical body is responding to those particular visuals. And at this particular point, all systems are go. Things are looking good. They're feeling good. We are kind of taking a little bit more steps to be pushing the boundaries of our comfort zones in our mental plane, because we have to come up with a visual that makes our mind, body, and soul come into agreement with each other, so that we can, again, take action in the external realm on what needs to be done in order to bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. Now, also, because the moon and Mercury working so well together, if you find yourself in a situation where conversations, heart to hearts, have to be had, especially where long-term goals are concerned, this is a much better energy to actually have these conversations than we were sitting in yesterday or even a week ago. There is a lot more confidence within our own voice, within our own plans, our own projections. There's a lot more clarity that we're able to kind of understand within us, articulate within ourselves, communicate and express outwardly. And so the miscommunication, the missteps that we are experiencing even a couple of days ago, this particular energy is going to help us resolve those particular issues and get on the same page. The moon in Taurus going to bump into, team up with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, and of course, in this Taurus energy. So this particular interaction is definitely going to kind of make us feel a little bit more confident than we have been feeling, more optimistic than maybe we have been feeling as well. Jupiter always brings the hype, if you will, magnifies where it is that we have to dream a bigger dream, where it is that we have to kind of just conjure up a visual that is just so magnificent, so happy, so joyous, that this is the energy, the hype girl energy that we all need in order to stay the course, in order to feel good in our present moment, in our physical bodies, in the here and now, but also super comfortable about what it is that we want to build towards, the opportunities that we want to kind of pursue, that we want to create, that we want to bring to life, the options that we now have in front of us. And this is just an empowering type of energy. But where Jupiter tends to kind of get carried away and bite off more than we can chew, the moon in Taurus anchoring us here in this present moment, logically, practically, having the right kind of mind space and heart space in order to kind of think of these visuals and really allow the messages from our physical body to dictate whether or not that's something that we should pursue or not. This is going to kind of minimize the expectations that we have, because again, we want to be logical and practical and not set ourselves up for disappointment, and put us in a situation where the dream that we're trying to conjure up and visualize, where it's not unrealistic and where it is actually achievable for us. So this is going to be a positive mood, positive attitude, and really put us in a good situation to be thinking about some of the future aspects that we want to manifest and get behind them 100% mind, body, and soul. The moon in Taurus is going to make an awkward interaction with Venus. So Venus rules over the Taurus energy that the moon is currently in, but Venus herself, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Sagittarius energy, really pushing the boundaries of her comfort zone, really exploring the change of heart, the new wants, needs, and desires that we now want to set out and pursue, especially where relationship dynamics are concerned. So this is an awkward interaction, not going to feel good, not necessarily going to feel bad, but it's kind of, something's off. We can't put our finger on it. We don't really know what to make of it, if you will. And a lot of this is because the Sag energy that Venus is in is very futuristically, focused, let's say, while the moon in Taurus energy doesn't really want to go that far into the future. Kind of gives us anxiety to think about all the roles and responsibilities that are kind of being put on us to make these major changes in our physical realm that's going to have a major impact on our relationship dynamics, on our energetic exchanges. And so the moon in this Taurus energy just wants us to be happy in this present moment, plucking out the silver linings when we can, really leaning into what is comfortable, what is making us feel safe and secure, but thinking about all the changes and thinking about just totally, flipping the script on our physical realms at this particular moment in time, which Venus and Sag definitely wants us to be thinking about, doesn't feel safe, doesn't feel secure, doesn't feel stable, doesn't feel happy, doesn't feel joyous. And so this is where we're really struggling, because this particular aspect wants us to be thinking about the futuristic element of the vision, especially where our relationships are concerned, but that's a little bit too much for us to be processing at this point. And again, just wanting to stay in this present moment where the comfort zone is providing us the safety, security, the stability that, of course, Venus and Sagittarius energy is not. The moon is then going to semi-square Neptune. Neptune, of course, in his place of power in this Pisces energy. This is all about creativity and dreams and healing and spirituality and our intuition. But this is a semi-square. So this is a little bit of a tension point, a little bit of a conflict point, and mostly because, again, Neptune being in this Pisces energy has us kind of thinking of the past and the heaviness, the pain, the trauma, the weight that we are really trying very hard not to think about at this particular moment. And B, really pushing us to conjure up a vision and a dream really allowing our intuition to guide us on what it is that we want to kind of be pursuing from here. So what's the problem, you may ask? Well, the moon in Taurus doesn't really want to go that far into the past, definitely doesn't want to go that far into the future. And so we're just kind of anchoring into the physical realm, into the physical body, which of course Neptune and Pisces really doesn't have any dominion over. That's the metaphysical realm. That's the spiritual realm. That's the intuitive realm. And right now we just want to kind of be anchored into the physical body and focus on all the things that make us feel good, that bring us a sense of safety, security, and stability in this present moment, in the here and now. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in this Taurus energy trining beautiful interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger in this Capricorn energy. Again, another earth on earth energy aspect. What this means is that there is a change in our mood and our attitude. There is a shift in our, let's call it motivation, our inspiration, if you will. This is a growth, a launching point on where it is that we are gaining momentum, hyping ourselves up, gaining the physical energy required in order to actually make a move on this greater, grander plan, this path, this direction that we're trying to conjure up. Keep in mind that Mars in the Capricorn energy, he would prefer to take action and not really kind of, worry about the consequences or the fallout. But in the Capricorn energy, Mars can't act on impulse. Everything has to be well thought out, well planned, well strategized. Everything is a calculated action, if you will, so that we're not wasting energy, we're not wasting time, and we're not messing things up for ourselves. And so because this is a trine and this is a good energy and kind of nudging us in the right direction, emotionally speaking, because the moon is in Taurus energy, again, we're thinking about what is exciting to us, what we're passionate about, what we're inspired to change, to pursue, what it is as far as opportunities that we actually want to go after, and how that is making us feel in this present moment in our physical form. And all systems are go. We are in agreement between the mind space and the heart space, and even in our physical form, because Mars rules over our physical energy, we are building, cultivating this fire, this flame, this passion, this willpower, this discipline that is going to be needed in this next chapter of us standing in our creator energy in order for us to actually bring something that we're passionate about, that excites us, that inspires us into physical form, into our physical realm. And this is definitely the beginning. Again, we just came out of the first quarter moon in Aries energy and action point. This is a beginning of stabilizing within ourselves, in our emotions, and in our mental plane in order for us to see the best path forward.